Hi guys, I'm Ryan Newsman and welcome to my fly tying channel. If you haven't already done so, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. That'll keep you up to date with everything as I upload it. My channel already contains hundreds of videos covering a wide range of both patterns and techniques, from the basic to the more advanced. So without delay, let's get on with the show. Hi guys, so we're going to tie a rainbow fly here, and this one is going to be like a cat's whisker Nomad. So I have here a size 8 B175, and on that I have this is a 5mm gold bead. So I'm going to attach my thread here, but because it's a Nomad, I'm only going to do it on maybe the first 2/3 or so of the hook shank, and I'm going to super glue that or varnish it, whatever you want, just to secure it in place. So cat's whisker type fly, so we're going to have a white marabou. So what I'm going to do is take the tip of a marabou, take that out, and then I'm going to separate out the tip portion of this bunch, so then I get a nice even end on it. And I'm going to trim that to length for myself, tie that up as far as our tie-in thread went on, and bind that down. So that gives us a nice even tail. So if you want, you can add a little bit of flash to that. So what I'm going to do is take a strand of Mirage, or we'll use Flash Blue, or we'll use whatever you want. And I'm going to set that on to be the length of the tail, turn across it, flip it back, and then wrap back. Now you might be able to see here that I've tied it in up here and I'm wrapping back. That's because I want to leave the thing even. I don't want like a thick or bumpy bit at the back. So for the body of this, I'm going to use this neon green, I suppose it's a 10 or 15 mil Fritz type material. I'm just going to strip a little bit of the core of that, so we have this little bit to tie in, and then it means it's nice and neat, doesn't build up bulk. So that's tied in. What I'm going to do is to run a bit of clear varnish over the tie-in, the body. That'll sort of soak in to the marabou, and it'll make the body more secure, but what it'll also do is to waterproof that, and therefore the marabou, in that it's quite absorptive. If you fished with a fly, once the water gets into it, then hold it around the shank and could rust your hook. So I'm then going to wrap our Fritz. Now you can see I'm stroking it back as I wrap, and it gets you a real nice tight body. And just as I come off the front of this taper, I'm then going to get my tying thread up through the fibres of it. So sort of like you're tying in a hackle, I suppose. 2 turns will hold that there, then I'll fold it back and get a couple of turns in behind there, and then I'm going to snip that off at the core. So 1/2 hitch, trim that, and now I'm going to take my super glue brush, and I'm going to get super glue onto that front tie-in part, and then get my bead pushed back into that. So what you want to do is use a bead that has a big enough hole in the back of it that it actually can mount over that, but also that was why we had to come off the front of our tie-in because we'd have never got it over the whole tail tie-in, etc. So that'll hold itself in place, but to be a Nomad it has this sort of elongated head thing on it. So if we take our red thread, attach it on at the front here, and then I'm going to put super glue on that there, and while it's wet I'll wrap it in. So what I'm doing is I'm creating layers. So I'm going back, coming forward, and each time I come forward I'll come a little bit less forward, so we end up with this sort of build up towards the back. And when our thread starts to look dry again, then we'll just add more super glue to the mix. And how big or extreme you end up with the cone is up to your own personal taste, but if you do want it to go further up the cone, what you can do is to super glue your thread, and then as you wrap back that will help it to cling to the bead, because otherwise it'll just run off the front face of the bead. And that'll allow you, if you want, to build it right up to the same thickness as the bead. Trim that off, and then I'll just take a run of super glue around the head, and when that has dried itself off, then what we'll do is we'll give it a run of clear varnish over it to finish it. So that's our Cat's Whisker Nomad rainbow trout fly. So hopefully it's of some use to some people. And I said, if you did like what you see, so give us a like, subscribe, tell your friends, and until next time, tight lines, and thanks for watching.